What's up with y'all? We are back at it again today. Today I'm not fixing anything. I'm in my garage trying my best to organize, get some organization going on. I got a bunch of hardware and supplies and all this stuff I need to organize and get together. So I'm not rummaging and searching for stuff while I'm out in the field fixing something, I'll be able to put it in these bins and just carry them along with me. So like I said, if I got a bunch of interior trim clips, bolts, fasteners, all that type of stuff. So that's all I'm doing today. But I wanted to talk a little bit about being humble. I think we all know or have a pretty good idea of what it means to be humble. But I'm going to talk about being humble before the Lord. And I can say that I've gone through that ever since, starting this business venture on my own. I have been humble on more than one occasion. So, just to sum it up, when I had the idea to leave my day job to pursue this and real estate ventures and all those things, I had my own vision in my head, about how things were gonna go and how life is gonna be moving forward and all of that. And I say about 90% of all the ideas and things that I had planned out in my head about, what I was gonna do, how I was gonna do it, didn't work how I thought it would. And that's not to say that, things went terribly wrong and, not like that, but God had other plans. And like I said, it didn't pan out like I thought. Now I can say that being humble throughout this journey has open the doors to things that I've wanted, things I wanted to pursue or whatever. Some of my ideas I had before started to come to fruition, I guess you could say. But man, it was a very humbling experience. Like I said, man, it's not that I was arrogant about it, but I don't know. I wasn't humble. I wouldn't call it arrogance, but I was not being humble about it. It's not like I was going around bragging, telling everybody, "Hey, man, I'm out of here. Y'all saw this lady. Y'all have a 9 to 5 if you want to. I'm out." No, it wasn't nothing like that. But it just inside, I can feel something that I don't think God appreciated. I'll say that. That being said, we're going to look at a few scriptures to kind of support what I'm saying. And yes, I do have a notepad. I cannot find my wife's iPad. I don't have one. Kids got one. She got one. I don't have one. So I was going to pull up the verses that I wanted on the Bible app, but she has it. She's not here. I don't know where it is, so I wrote them down. Call me old, yes. But so the first one, to kind of encompass everything we're talking about, is James chapter 4, verse 10. I'm sure we all heard this before. It says, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." So what I did was I looked up the, concordance. I don't know what you call it, but I looked up the background in that verse, and what I found was this verse emphasizes the importance of humility in the eyes of God and promises that those who humble themselves, they will be exalted by him. Often interpreted as a call to acknowledge one's own limitations and dependence on God rather than self-reliance and pride. That right there sums up a lot of what I was feeling, man. Because even with starting this business, I felt like I had all the answers, or I needed to find all the answers. You know, it could have been funding for parts or tools or whatever that I may have needed, or just trying to find leads and trying to find work. I thought that, no, I got it, Lord. You good. I got it. Sit back. I got it. And truth be told, I've been that way my whole adult life. Even though, you know, growing up in church and everything, like, that's just always how I've been. And I think a lot of men in particular are like that. It's just how we're wired. Like, you know, it's pride, and is a sense of form of pride. I don't think one would see it as that. I think it's, you know, a lot of men see it as being, you know, self-reliant, not being lazy, figuring it out, you know, try to figure it out on your own before you ask for help. But you're supposed to ask the Lord for help and bring all of our cares to Him always, no matter what, no matter how big or small we think they are. He does not want us to go out and do life on our own and mess it up and be in a worse predicament than we would have been if we'd have just humbled ourselves and called on Him and asked Him for guidance, whatever. So, yeah, like I said, that says a lot about what I was going through, or lends a lot to what I was going through, man. Because I mean, you know, just, and then even when it comes to people, because man, my wife is, recent example, I had to create a landing page for my business. You know, I did my research on it, came across something on YouTube, some company that they specialize in landing pages and things surrounding them and all that stuff, get a QR code, all that. So, you know, my wife, every so often she'll ask, hey, do you need help with anything? Like, nah, I got it. Nah, I'll figure it out. So I mentioned to her about doing a QR code. So I spent most of one day last week researching how to do so. And I had a pretty good idea of what it needed to do. And I told my wife about it when she came home. And we're getting ready for bed one night. She's on the phone and she just went on ChatGPT and created a landing page for her business. All within literally probably like a span of 10 minutes. And she shows it to me. It's like, is this what you were trying to do? Can you check this and make sure it works? So I checked it and it went to her website. And I'm like, wow, you just did that in all of 10 minutes. Something I've been, you know, researching all day. And, you know, she asked, you know, do you want me to do it? I was like, well, yeah, I do, but this company, you know, it's a one-stop shop, blah, blah, blah. So 2 days after that, she just took it upon herself to do it for me anyway. And it looked great. So something that I've been, you know, I'll say struggling, whatever, I'll say it. Something I was struggling with for a day plus, she did, and like I said, mine's when she was creating, it took a little more time because it's just a lot of moving parts with it. But bro, what if I just came to her, hey, can you help me? Which I don't have a problem doing all the time. I will say pride does get in the way of me sometimes. Like, no, I got it. But if I just go on to her, because she is tech savvy, she knows how to do all the type of stuff. Me, not so much. I could have just asked from the get-go and could have been further along by now. But me being me, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try to figure it out on my own, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it comes to a certain point where you gotta be like, hey man, I want to know how to do this. Can you show me how to do this? Can you teach me how to do it? Instead of just being bullheaded and like, no, I got it, leave me alone, no. Which is what I was doing in a sense. Like I said, could have called my wife, she helped me out, been in a better spot by now. But the Lord worked it out to where that happened anyway, and here we are, because our spouses are our helpmates, and they're for a reason, you know what I mean? So utilize them. And that's the same with, anybody, if you know the person, if you got a cordial relationship, business relationship with somebody, like, lean on that person's skills. Don't try to do it all on your own, because what's the point? You're wasting time, you're wasting money, like, everything's passing you by. Suck it up, put your pride to the side, and get the help you need. That's it, man. So another verse, it's Proverbs chapter 3, verse 34, and it says, "The Lord mocks the mockers, but is gracious to the humble." Gracious to the humble. So if we are doing the Lord's work, doing something that is pleasing to the Lord, and we need help, and we go to the Lord humbly, ask him for guidance and help, I do believe that he will grant that to us, as long as it is the work of the Lord and we're not, just doing something for selfish gain or something that's going to harm anybody or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Like I said, I think men can relate to this a lot more than a woman can, just because, like I said, it's how we're wired. We're supposed to have everything figured out. It's not as if we don't have enough pressure on ourselves that we're putting on ourselves, saying that, hey, we need to have this figured out. But that's what the world thinks of us, man. The world thinks we're supposed to have everything figured out. We don't need help. I can do it. Leave me alone, blah, 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 blah. When God is saying, like, hey, man, you don't have it. I got it. Just give it to me, and that help you out. And I truly believe that is the heart of the Lord. Like I said, as long as you're doing something pleasing to him, something godly, like, the Lord always has it back. I don't think that's anything for us to question. The Lord always has it back. But it's up to us to come to terms with that. And it sounds so stupid, but it's something that we discussed in my men's group this past semester. Like, just holding on to your problems. Like, no, Lord, no, you're busy. I got it, man. I got this one. I'll call you when I really, really need some help. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And we just hold on to so much stuff when God is like, bro, just give it to me. Sit down. You can't do it. But we do it anyway. But, I mean, it's I don't want to say it's hard, but it takes intentional effort and a lot to get used to, because, again, going back to the men, I think we've been conditioned with that mindset from the time before we were men, man. If you were fortunate enough to have a decent man in your life, and he was of a certain generation, like my dad is in his 70s, like, bro, that's how they were cut, like that. That's just how it is, man, So you pick up on those traits, and, they kind of instill that stuff in you as well. And you just think, hey, this is how I'm supposed to operate. I don't know. You don't know anything different. And then you go into adulthood like that. And I can honestly say I'm not proud of, but I had been raising my son is 7. I've been raising him to kind of go along that same path in a sense, just because you don't know any better. You think that's the right way to do it until God smacks in your face, or you fall on your face enough times to realize, hey, man, Lord, I'm going to let you have this, And again, it just goes back to pride. We can't do everything, man. We don't know everything. We can't do everything. And I've heard, in a lot of the sermons of, men that I listen to, men of God I listen to, and things like that, you are a godly man knows when to call on the Lord. You're always supposed to call on the Lord, but a man of God strictly relies on the Lord. He knows his strength is not enough. He's not foolish, trying to do everything. And I mean, man, once you end up doing that, you will find yourself in a world of trouble. You're gonna ruin everything. You could ruin your whole family if you have one, by behaving like that. Well, to wrap it up, we're gonna do one more verse, and this is Psalms 18, 26 through 28, and the one that really speaks to being humble is 27, which is right in the middle. But I like to, whenever I look up a verse or study or something, I like to see what, I'll go back a few verses to kind of get the full context of what they're talking about, instead of just looking at it one verse and you kind of like might be lost, about what they're talking about. So 26, it says, to the pure you show yourselves pure, but to the crooked you show yourself shrewd. You rescue the humble, but you humiliate the proud. Your light is a lamp for me. The Lord my God lights up my darkness. I think it's pretty self-explanatory about, verse 26, but I want to look at verse 28, where it says, you are a light for me. The Lord my God lights up my darkness. And darkness can be many things. Darkness can be depression, just being lost, not knowing what to do, where to go in a certain situation or season of your life. Like, you light up my darkness. And that kind of goes back to, we always have to seek him, no matter what. No matter how big or small we think the problem is, like, bro, it all goes back to him. Our very best, on the best day we could ever possibly imagine in our life, can never amount to what God can do. We just can't. It doesn't compare. And it's hard to do, but you got to get out of that mindset of, I got it. I can do everything. Because we can't, man. We can't. Like I say, just humbling yourself before the Lord, I think, well, obviously we know it can, change our lives, trade our lives, all of our situations and everything, but especially if you're the leader of a household or, have a family of your own, like, bro, you have to, as men, we are the head of our households, but who do we answer to? We're supposed to humble ourselves for the Lord and answer to him. Because I don't think that, it might work for a little while, but I mean, women, they desire safety, leadership, a lot of other things. But as far as safety and leadership, if you are not tapped into the Lord on a daily basis, all the time, like, how do you know where you're going as far as leadership? Do you know where you're going? We have to be tapped into him to, for guidance on anything. But again, it doesn't matter how simple you may think it is, like, bro, everything goes back to him. He is the creator of all of this earth we roam, everything. He knows best, and we have to look at it and him as such. We can't do it on our own, man. And I will tell you, on my journey, it has not been easy, because I still find myself saying, like, nah, man, I got it. Watch out, nah. Like I said the other day with my wife, I had to tuck my tail and be like, yeah, you're better at this than me. Could you please help me? And then it's not even, like, she would look at me like, you dummy, I know you couldn't do it. Like, she wants to help me. No, we have to accept the help, and we have to humble ourselves before the Lord to know that we can't do everything. If you're fortunate enough to have a wife or a special young lady in your life that is God-fearing and wants to help you, like, bro, that is one of the greatest blessings you could ever receive. Trust me, I know. I'm a living testament of it. I did not always appreciate it or her, which, looking back at it, you feel like crap about. But They're placed in our lives for a reason, man. And not even hurt, you know, it could be a group of friends or somebody, you know. One friend's good at this, you're good at this, you're good at that. Like, you know, just be like, hey man, can you help me? Can you show me how to do this? And like, nothing's wrong with that, man. Nothing's wrong with it. If they're really your friends, not gonna look at you like, you dummy, you don't know that? Wow, I don't wanna hang with you no more. If they're your friends, it's not how it's gonna be. If real friends want to see you succeed, and I mean, if you need help, no matter what it is, they're gonna help you. You know, so yeah, fellas, that's it, man. We gotta get out of our own way, humble ourselves before the Lord, and let Him do His will, man. That's a whole nother topic right there. Let Him do His will. Because, man, that is, you hear it all the time. You've probably said it to yourself also. But, man, that is a dangerous phrase. Maybe we'll talk about that next video. But, yeah, man, that's it. I'm going to finish this mess out here. It is blazing hot. I'm trying to hurry up so I can get in the house.